All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cooking with Black Terps, featuring Chef Sanjay Singh
Hello.
of Food That Makes Your Soul Sing. My name is Cassie Adjman Dua. I am the president of the Black Alumni Association at the University of Maryland, and I'm so glad that you all could join us this evening. This is going to be an interactive evening. He's going to show us how to prepare a few items, and hopefully you all can cook along with us. And if tonight is not your night for cooking, then hopefully you can take notes and try the recipes later. Um, so I will allow Sanjay to make his remarks, and then we'll get started.
Thank you, Cassie. What's up, fellow Black Terps? Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Sanjay Singh, and welcome to Food That Makes Your Soul Sing. I do a chef's table, little business out of the comfort of my kitchen. And essentially for the last year or so, I've been cooking for friends and family for birthdays and little anniversaries. And I provide a little unique in-house chef's table experience where I lead the diners through little culinary experiences. We'll cook along each side. I open up my kitchen so that they can see all the prep work, walk them through very simple to very, I won't say complicated, but intricate meals. And tonight I've prepared for you three very basic, very novice cooker meals. We're gonna do vegetarian oyster mushroom nuggets. It could be made vegan if you just substitute one item for the next, and I'll explain that when we get there. And then we're gonna do mixed green salad with a lemon vinaigrette. And we're gonna finish with a caveman style skirt steak. And we're gonna actually grill that outside on the Kamado that I have. I'm gonna take the video to go so that you can see the process of what it means to cook caveman style. It's unique, but super easy. And then everything will be plated, and hopefully for those that are cooking along with me, ask questions. This is how it's gets interactive. This is how the dining experience goes when I have clients come. And we'll have a fun time. Hopefully I can shed some little tips and tricks along the way, and disarm the people that don't cook a lot with skills that you can take and bring to your own kitchen, and then add at least 3 dishes maybe you've never done before to your repertoire, impress your friends and guests. So with all that said, we are ready to go. Cassie,
I did have to step back in and mention that this is being recorded, just so everyone knows, so that if you do want to go back and watch it later, you are able to do that. Thank you.
And as I said, ask questions. I think you have to unmute yourself, not exactly sure, but ask questions. Tell me to slow down if you need me to, just to kind of work some things out, and then we'll go from there. So one of the first things we're gonna do is just what do I do when I prepare meals? You don't always cook and do prep in the manner or the order that the meal is served. So for instance, I have my skirt steak, and one of the big things about cooking steak or any meat on the grill or in the house is you want to make sure everything gets to room temperature. So my skirt steaks have been sitting out for roughly about an hour just to get to room temperature. For those that may not be familiar with what a skirt steak is, a skirt steak is taken from the belly of the cow. It's not very tough meat. It's one of those less popular ones, but it cooks up really well when you cut it across the grain and the manner to which you serve it. It cooks real quick, and it's one of my favorites to use. It's very flavorful with a simple salt and pepper preparation. So what I did was go ahead and I started by, I'm out of the camera frame, let me just move that a little. I started by salting and peppering the 3 that I have. I did not do this one, so this one is left for the masses to just kind of, what does that look like? Anytime you're with beef, you want to make sure it's well seasoned with salt and pepper. I'm using kosher salt, kosher. Don't use the iodized table salt. The grains are, you can kind of manipulate more because they're a little larger. They're coarser, tends to have a little more flavor. But the big thing with just, I let the ingredients shine. I'm not gonna put like steak sauce. You don't need to put a ton of like, you know, garlic powder or paprika or other items. Usually when I do steak, salt and pepper is the most I go with. I might finish it with like melted butter or garlic if I'm doing a pan sear. But this one is basically salt and pepper. And when we pull it from the grill, it's gonna pull its own juices when we wrap it and let it rest. So right now the steaks are pretty much just sitting, chilling. And the next thing we're gonna go into is the prep work for the chimichurri sauce. The chimichurri is probably gonna be the most complicated of the entire meal simply because it has the most ingredients. But when we kind of put it together, you're gonna be like, oh, that was pretty simple because you just needed like a teaspoon of this, a teaspoon of that, and chopped up your herbs. Now, I'd probably be underwhelming you if I pulled out my food processor and just did this in about 10 seconds. So what I have here is just like tons of parsley. It looks like a lot, but when we chop this down, that's probably going to yield us about a quarter, or probably a full cup of minced chopped parsley. I have, I asked for 4 garlic cloves. I love garlic, so it's Halloween. We're gonna try to keep Dracula away. So I got a ton of, for me, I'm using about like 5 good sized cloves. I do have some shallots. Shallots are like the baby onion of the onion family. If you don't have a shallot, don't worry. You can cheat. You can use a red onion. Red onions are simply just a larger version of shallot. It's a little stronger. Shallots have a very mild onion flavor. So if you're not a big onion fan, you can, that's where a lot of cooks will use shallots in their preparation. And then for the chimichurri, you need red wine vinegar. You need a nice olive oil. Doesn't need to be like extra virgin or something like that. One little hack with cooking is that if you always want to use top ingredients, but when you're making sauces and things that are going to have other items in there, you don't want it to be so overpowering that that's all you taste. Also, it doesn't have to be so delicate that it'll be lost. I use just regular kind of olive oil. I think this is like Baroli. It's nothing crazy. And that'll help us with the chimichurri. And we'll start on putting that together right now. I am going to chop this up. For those at home, start chopping along. Oh, I use a cutting board just for like safety. I never try to mix herbs and vegetables with a meat cutting board. So I have my meat cutting board over here. That's a finishing one. I use a plastic one for raw meat with like chicken and poultry. I'm like just a food safety thing is to always make sure you don't cross contaminate your food. So with raw vegetables and things like that, I cut on my larger booze block. Shout out to Booze if you guys are listening. I need some free merch. But this Booze block is like my workhorse in this kitchen. It doesn't move. It's pretty heavy, but it's huge. I use it as like pretty much like a table. It's extra counter space, but it also like lets me chop. This is probably the most parsley I've chopped by hand.
Excuse me, Sanjay.
Yep.
What kind of knife is that?
Fancy one.
This is a shun. It's a Japanese knife. This is 10 inches. So it's a 10-inch chef knife. Most chef knives come in 8 inches. I took this out just to kind of show off. Yeah. My normal knife is behind me. But in the cutlery world, Shun is like one of the higher end, I guess. So one thing to also help with shopping, because like who has time to do this on like a Tuesday night, to just like sit there for 20 minutes and chop this up? Very few. That's why I would say use your food processor as necessary. What I'm doing is also, if you notice, I'm kind of like pulling everything back into a group so that it's getting smaller and smaller, the little mounds. It used to take up this whole board, if you remember. It's like 30.
Sanjay, real quick, I noticed when you're cutting, your knife never really leaves the board. Is there a specific cutting technique you should be using?
Excellent question. I think that's more of like a safety one. Like really, when you're like cutting, you're doing a saw, seesaw action, right? So the point of the blade, I'm never moving up, and the cutting action is happening towards my handle. And I'm more just navigating the cutting using my right hand and guiding with my left hand. Now I'm just kind of just looking at like, making sure I get like the big pieces out of the way and chopped up. Chimichurri is that Argentinian style sauce. You'll see it in a lot of steakhouses. It really gets its pow from the red wine vinegar. But it's a great simple sauce that's to add to your repertoire. And it's not just good for steaks. You can put it on pretty much, anything that you like a sauce on. I'm sure it would work with chicken. I'm sure it would also work with like fish. So I'm looking at this, and that's pretty darn close to probably a cup.
Did I hear you say earlier that if you don't want to do that, you can just use a food processor?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So a food processor is, it would just pulse it. You would just put it in there and put it on pulse for, I'd say pulse it like 5 times or so, and you'll get it down to its consistency.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, it does. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So this is pretty much our parsley. What I'll do is just kind of get one of my serving dishes.
Did you buy the parsley with no stems, or did you just take it off?
Oh, okay. I forgot to tell you, I stemmed it. So you could leave the stems on. For me, I just kind of didn't want guests to kind of like bite into like a stalky part, but
yeah,
you get, it's personal preference. Excellent question.
Okay. Cool, thank you.
What's that tool called you're using to clean your board?
I'm sorry?
The tool you're using to clean your board, like scrape up everything.
Great. So this is a bench scraper. A bench scraper is basically, it might be called a bench scraper or a dough scraper, and all it does is essentially what it says is scrape the bench and pick up the ingredients. So here is our parsley, pretty finely cut, chopped. So after the parsley, we're going to go with the garlic. So garlic is another thing. Garlic is cool because it's a simple herb. It's, you can find it anywhere. And it will liven up a lot of dishes regardless of what you have. One of the keys to garlic that people get scared of is that it's overpowering. And that's only excuse me, that's only if you leave really big chunks. Garlic tends to lessen when it's cooked, but like having really big pieces, that's why you really want to finely mince it and get them kind of small. So how do you do that? I'll take my biggest piece, and with the heel of my knife, I'm going to crush it. So all it is taking the garlic, putting it right there, and the weight of your hand just crushes it up. That also releases some of the oils in it, and that'll just add to the dish. And then we'll do that like 3 more times. You don't have to like smack it too hard. You could also press down on it. I usually just press down. And just like how I chopped up the parsley, I am going to chop up the garlic. So how big is big enough? I would say not like the size of sand. That's not going to happen. You just don't want something that's like bigger than, let's say, like a centimeter or so. And I also always wipe down the knife because you'll get stuff stuck on the side and that's not getting cut. So occasionally I'll just like with my finger, being careful not to cut it, just chopping up your garlic. And as I said, I said you start with 4. It depends on how much you like garlic. I like it, so I went a little more than 4. And there's our garlic. So there's a French term called mise en place. Mise en place is basically, my dean, Rohan, would yell at me for not knowing exactly what the translation is. But it's essentially making sure you have all your little ingredients that you need ready right there for you. So we have our parsley, we have our garlic now. Now for the shallots.
Hey, Sanjay.
Yep.
Are you professional? I mean, have you been, is this like a hobby for you? Or are you going to, like, how far are you going to go with this? Were you trained? Like, what's the plan here?
I'm home trained. I started watching cooking shows from like Graham Kerr and Jeff Smith with the Frugal Gourmet back in the 80s, well before Emerald and like and those like the Food Network. Like I was watching this back in like WPIX and Fox 5 when they were doing the stuff like when your grandmother had you just watching before Wapner came on.
I'm just saying, I can see you like doing this for real, for real.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I am a principal at grade, so I do have my day job, but I guess my passion is cooking, and then like sharing food with people. Anyone that's kind of known me for a while has hopefully had some kind of dishes of mine. I see a lot of friends that have recently come by and shared, or like over the years have come by. So when you're cutting an onion, you really can't see it on this, but I always cut it horizontally. So here's your root. Never cut the root off. That keeps everything together. But I'll slice it about 3 or 4 times horizontally, kind of like blinds. And then what I'll do is go back and then do the crisscross by cutting vertically across the onion. Again, not caring not to get through the root. And then the magic is now I'll just saw down, and I want a little bite to these shallots, meaning I want it to still have some body. I don't want it so small that you can't taste them. Because one of the cool things with the chimichurri is like you have the sauce, but it has a little texture to it. So we have.
Sanjay, I have a quick question.
Yep.
So in regards to the shallots, can you mince that like how you mince your garlic? Like, can you just throw it in a food processor as well?
Yep, you can. With cooking, you can do anything you kind of want. Like it's kind of your personal preference. It's not going to be any benefit for cutting it smaller or larger. Just some people are not big fans of onions, so you know, biting into like a hunk of onion might be, not to say off-putting, but you know, for some they're like, I wish the onion was a little smaller. Onion also, when it's cooked, because this is going to be raw, gives up its natural sugars, so you lose some of that bite that I was just referring to. I already did that.
When's the YouTube channel coming?
I don't know.
Soon.
If I have enough people that would like to see a YouTube channel, this is kind of like maybe the first foray into a cooking channel.
Yeah, man. Maybe it could be like Friday Cooking with Sanjay every first Friday or something like that.
Thank you. And one of the bright spots of this whole COVID situation is that everybody's in. Like when Sabria was trying to schedule, she was like, "Hey, you got Tuesday or Thursday or Friday?" I was like, "No one's gonna be sitting here on a Friday night wanting to watch me cook at 7 o'clock on the day before homecoming." But then you realize, well, where are you gonna go? So I was like, you know what, that does make sense. So
quick question about the shallots. So we was a little behind on timing.
Keep going, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's your question?
Yeah. As far as the shallots, we're just cutting them up just like we did everything else, right? Just tiny pieces, nothing special.
Pieces, yep. This is what they would call mincing.
Okay.
So you get like little squares. I'm gonna try. I don't know what that's about as big as you're getting. And with that, you have your shallots, you have your garlic and your parsley, and that is the basis of the chimichurri. So let's try to actually get this in a bowl. So just a basic bowl. I'm gonna dump my parsley in there. I'm gonna dump my garlic in there.
Switch your camera on.
And I'm dumping my shallots. Okay. So next thing is the olive oil. Here's our olive oil. I'm just going to, now I think I said like a cup of olive oil. This sucker's gonna pour super slow, so I'm just gonna take it out. I'm eyeballing because I know how much like chimichurri I probably want to finish with.
Sanjay, quick question. If you had simply minced the garlic and maybe rough chopped the cilantro, would that, or not cilantro, whatever you use, if you had roughly chopped that instead of minced it, would that change the flavor profile or anything?
I don't think so. I think you probably just, it would be as fine. Okay. It's not like parsley is a situation where the bigger the piece, the more strong you're gonna get a parsley flavor.
How much olive oil is it?
I think I said a cup. I eyeballed this. I did not measure it, but it looks like a slurry. Can y'all see that? It's meant to be like kind of like trying to like wet oatmeal. Is that a good? So it's not. It's still wet. It's not dry. You can definitely see that. I'm going to just add a little salt. That's about half a teaspoon right there. And then I have just some fresh cracked pepper. Now I also said do about a tablespoon of fresh pepper. This is something on your preference. How hot do you want it? That is about, like when you kind of cup your hand like that, that's about the size of a teaspoon. Let's see if I am lying to you or this is really like, oh, this dude don't know what he's doing. Okay. Try to get as much of that in there. So that's a scant. Scant means not fully a teaspoon, so I could do a little more. I was holding back because I didn't know. Audience, do you guys like hot chimichurri or you want it a little? We're gonna go a little higher. Crushed red pepper is not super hot. It's not like a habanero or anything like that. So that it'll give it a little kick, but it won't be overpowering. The next thing is dried oregano. Pro tip with this, dry herbs tend to, depends on what you want. Like for this, could I have gone with fresh? I probably could have. I would not necessarily say it would add or subtract from the dish. In this, I think I'm looking for the texture. A lot of Americans, we eat with our mouths with regards to texture. So things that we sometimes find unpalatable are because textures in the food that we have are either very mushy or too many chews. We're also conditioned to, maybe it's not scientific, but like 4 or 5 chews and then you want to swallow. So you don't want something that is going to take like, 10, chew 10 times to get it down. I say that to say with the dry herbs, it just gives us a little different texture with the ingredients inside. So the only thing I have not added right now is the red wine vinegar. I'm actually going to wait last, and just before we serve this, I'm going to pop that in. It kind of will. It's like one of the things I learned. Like, why do I do that? I'm sure there's a better explanation, but it keeps the sauce fresher. Vinegar is acidic, so not to say it's going to cook the ingredients, but it's the last thing I want to do. Now, some people might say like, hey, don't you want all your flavors to mingle? I think that's kind of really what the olive oil is doing with the parsley, the pepper, and the oregano, salt and pepper to taste. So that's pretty much our chimichurri. That is, let's say, good to go. Since we're here, I'm going to start the vinaigrette for the salad because it's 2 ingredients and it's super simple. So since we're here, I'm just going to be like, hey, let's do it. And that's just going to require me to cut. I'm doing about 2 lemons. Okay, another pro tip. When you're cutting lemons, to get the most out of the lemon, I always kind of rub it and like try to break it up inside on your cutting board. This kind of makes it like soft and it loosens up the juice inside of the lemon. And that kind of helps. And this is something different. I did not put this in the recipe, but this is what separates the men from the boys. I'm going to zest it. I have a zester. This is a microplane. And simply, I'm just going to take the top layer of the skin of the lemon off. You don't want to get to the white. That's the pith. The pith is sour. That's what gives it that sour kind of taste to when you get, which is off-putting on citrus fruits. Doesn't need a lot. Just a little something. Again, this adds to some of the flavor, and there's essential oils in that lemon skin that'll help just bring out the flavor. I have a tool that is super handy. I have a reamer as well. A reamer's just these wooden classic reamer. You could use that. This tends to keep the seeds away, and I'm just like crushing it up.
Sanjay, my man, what's going on, man?
What's up? Who's that?
It's Tim, dog.
Hey. Oh, this is one of my former students. Wow, I'm showing my age. So Timothy was probably in my second or third class that I taught when I was a fifth grade teacher way back when. Smart as a whip, really nice kid. I'm like one of those teachers / now I'm a principal, but I try to keep tabs on my students and see how they're doing, and find them on Facebook, or if they find me on Facebook. So Tim hit me up and was like, hey, can I come alongside? And I was like, yeah, I would love to have you.
Yeah.
Trying to make a good impression on the kids today. Tim is no longer a kid. He's probably 20. What are you, like 24 now?
27, man.
Woo! Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I had him when he was 10. 10. The funniest thing about being a teacher is like your kids will come up to you in the grocery store or Target, like, hey, Mr. Singh, you remember me? And I'm like, yo, that's such an unfair question. I saw you when you were 10, and like now you're like grown person, beard and such, foot taller. And I'm like, I look the same, maybe a couple of pounds heavier. And they're like totally grown up. And I'm like, oh, give me a clue. So this is that's our lemon juice. It's a good amount. I did get a couple of seeds in here, so I'm just gonna pluck them out. Vinaigrettes are usually acidic with something and oil with something. So this is our lemon. And again, I will hold off in mixing the oil with the lemon to fully make it the vinaigrette until the very end. But right now it's just like a little salt, a little pepper, because I don't really want this to be too much like the other sauce that we're making. But when we add the olive oil, that'll be ready. So sauces are ready. That's probably the most we're going to do with regards to preparation. While we've been sitting here, I've been getting my oil ready. So the most intricate and messy of the dishes is the fried oyster nuggets. So when planning this, I was trying to be cognizant of, hey, my vegetarians and vegans out there, do I have a dish for them? So I am far from a vegan, but one of the better dishes I've picked up along the years is the substitution of oyster mushrooms for chicken nuggets. You would never think that they would match, but they do.
They are bomb.
So what is an oyster mushroom? It's those flat-looking mushrooms that kind of look like a trumpet or so, and they come kind of all clumped together. What I did was simply cut some of them off. That's a nice size. I kept some of the bigger ones so that the audience could see. That's about the size of a nugget or so. And what we'll do is just, and they range in size because they can get pretty small. These are like the little nubs. I'm sure you could fry those up too, but for the purposes of this, we will not. One thing to be careful of with mushrooms, you want to cut the stalk down because they can be fibrous and just chewy, going back to that texture thing. So with mushrooms, depending on how you're preparing them, you want to kind of stay away from the really fibrous stalks. That'll just kind of not ruin the dish, but it's not ideal, so I put it in there.
Sanjay, I have a question. I don't know if you would know, but it's the same type of mushroom that people use to make like shredded chicken and stuff like or pseudo shredded chicken. Is that the same mushroom or no?
Say the question again one more time, please.
I was asking if that was the same mushroom that people may use or vegans may use to like.
They'll use portobellos. Excellent question. So portobellos are like, especially the big ones that are like the size of your hand. Portobellos are like the steak mushroom, where people will substitute that for like a hamburger or so. It's still kind of meaty, but for this, I'm sure you could probably do it with others. What am I doing right now, real quick? This is buttermilk. It's harder and harder to find. You can kind of make your own buttermilk. I don't want, please don't quote me on this, but I believe
is that the butter?
Take some milk and like lemon juice. It'll kind of thicken it up a little.
Sing.
Yep.
Okay, that's just buttermilk in that bag.
This right now is just buttermilk in here. Oh, and this is where you would put your hot sauce. If I was making fried chicken, I would have buttermilk, some garlic powder, hot sauce, maybe a little salt and pepper, and it's like that's where your flavor is coming from. Buttermilk breaks down in regular meat. It tenderizes chicken. You do that overnight, and then your chicken will be really tender and flavorful. So when you dredge it, it's ready to, it's ready to go.
Hey, Sanjay.
Yep.
We are actually making that right now. How much buttermilk did you use?
Great. It's one of those eyeball things.
Man, I got glasses.
I know. So this is a quart of buttermilk, and it looks like I use about half a quart. Half a quart is 2 pints. So or 1 quart is 2 pints. So that's about a cup's worth.
Okay.
Right.
And then you put
no, I'm
salt,
sorry. I called that wrong. It's 2 cups worth in there right now.
Ant has good eyesight. He's gonna eyeball
what you really just want to make sure is that your buttermilk and whatever you're putting in it is enough to get it wet and get all
Well, that's the buttermilk
with this. Yeah. So in here I put sriracha. Last night I put a little salt and pepper. No, I didn't. I put sriracha. I think that's all I put. I did not put any garlic sauce. So garlic, powdered garlic in there. Just really hot sauce. Just hot sauce, honestly, because you're going to season it again. I didn't want it to be too crazy. Did I have to do it overnight? No, because with mushrooms, it doesn't have the same texture as like the meat or like the protein. So I just did it enough for it to just kind of pick up the flavor. So this is where it's going to get a little messy. We have the nuggets with the buttermilk. So now we got to dredge it. So I don't do bowls. I like Ziploc bags because I hate dough. I hate powder all over the place. So what I did was just like, technically your dredging should be like flour. And then this is where you'll put like your garlic powder, salt and pepper. That gives you the extra layers of flavor to your fried whatever, whether it be chicken, steak, nuggets. Excuse me. So in this, so I mentioned garlic 2 times. You can put it in here, you can put it in here, you can put it in both. It's up to like what you kind of like. This is, I'm gonna let you in into like a little Chef Singh secret. So I like House of Archery. This is like from like the little Asian market. It's mad cheap. It's like from Oxon Hill, and it says medium hot. It's not super hot, but it's almost like pretty much already seasoned. So I just throw that in there. Sometimes it's like Sarah on the cooking channel, like semi homemade. No reason to not like skip a couple of steps.
Her name is Sandra Lee. Jack her up. It's Sandra Lee.
Huh? So, yeah, Sandra Lee. That's it. That would have been dangerous. That just happened. Never try to catch a knife that falls because you slice your life up. Just let it fall. That's the reason why we're not using my normal workhorse, because I let my knife fall one day and it literally like did a dive bomb onto the floor and then cracked and fell over and I lost the tip. And your gut is to try to catch it, but that's a sharp knife and you'll be in the hospital for something that is small that you could have just let the knife fall. So if your knife ever falls, or just let it go and then pick it up, wash it off. So where are we at now? We are about to bread up and dredge and fry these nuggets.
Sanjay, do you have your oil on now, and is it better to use one kind of oil over another?
Excellent question. I do have my oil on. I use canola. Canola has a high smoke point, so it's not gonna burn up your kitchen. I'm not going to lie and say that my smoke alarm might not go off because I just have a really bad ventilation system setting up. But I had it going on. You want to switch over to this? I use a wok. So my little wok is my frying conveyance. And what we're going to do is move over here to the kitchen, to the stove. Put that on low because the audio is probably going to mess up a little. You want 270, more like 375 really for anything frying. This is my little thermo pen. MK4 thermo pen is like the industry leader in instant read thermometers. The oil is running low, so like 350. So by the time we dredge this, it'll probably be 375. What I'm going to do, because I don't like messy hands, we are going to dredge up a couple of these and then fry them up. I have my finishing station right over here. So once it fries, it's going to go right here and drain up a little. Anytime you fry food, you always want to make sure that you have some, finish it with a little salt, just because it kind of like adds that flavor there. Also, this is small, but it's, the little things are in the details. Get your station ready where it's like mushrooms, seasoning, flour, shake it up, and then going right here. So I'm going to go right in line through this. So one, don't put like 20 of these in the bag at one time. You want to try to keep a count going. So I did 3. See how that goes. Another cool thing about the Ziploc bags that is a pro tip that makes it easy on you is that now I can shake it. You got that air bubble, so it kind of like, I ain't got to do nothing. Oh, got that air bubble, so I can kind of do that. And now, wet hand, dry hand. So, with the dry hand, that pepper. We're going to put it in, and I'm going to drop it away from me so that the oil doesn't go flatter to me.
Sanjay, did you season your flour?
This one, no, I did not. I bought it kind of seasoned. It's pre-seasoned. It's just like a chicken frying one. Like you can use Washington. It's like they have a couple on the market. I'll show it again. But frying is frying. Like
you did say that. Sorry. Okay, I did see that. Sorry.
Okay. This is a spider. This is something that you do to quickly drain. And while that's cooking, I want it to be a golden brown. I'm gonna get my next group up. Once again, dry hand. Can y'all hear me over that audio?
Yeah, you're good.
Yep. You know, Plant Burger, that's in Whole Foods. Thanks. Sanjay?
Yep, what's the question?
It's called Plant Burger and Whole Foods. They have a spicy chicken sandwich, but it's really oyster mushrooms, and it's supposed to rival the Popeyes chicken sandwich. But
That makes it?
it's
Who
in
did you say makes it, Tashia?
Plant Burger and Whole Foods. It's the bomb. So good. Like if you don't, and I mean, I guess you can get cheese on it, but they're mostly vegetarian and vegan. But if you want to try this oyster mushroom on like a bun and all that stuff, it's delicious.
So what I'm using right now on the slider, I'm just flipping the nuggets. They don't take long, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. I'm eyeballing it. That's a nice color, but I want to get it a little darker. How are we doing on time? You want this to be an hour and a half? Okay. Any questions? This would be a good time for questions. I'm getting lazy. Don't do what I do. I just said don't put like 30 in there, but that's like 8. So I just put like a handful into the dressing, just because I want to try to get a nice amount in for plating.
So if somebody did want to use like regular flour and season it themselves, what seasoning would you recommend?
Salt, pepper, little paprika, garlic. It really kind of comes down to what flavors do they like. It's like fried chicken, so like however your mom wants to.
You'd be surprised everybody doesn't know how to fried chicken. I mean, I know how to fried chicken, but
my parents never cooked, so I grew up on like kid cuisine and like Stofers. So this is one of the reasons why I cook a lot, is because I was like, hey, I don't want my kids to have to like wait on delivery and stuff like that. So that's good. I might normally go a little darker. These are my first 3 that I put in. I'm weighing out the idea of like, okay, I don't want the onion, the oyster mushrooms to dry out too much inside. So all I'm doing right now is just kind of, the ones that are looking pale, flipping up them.
Sanjay.
Yep. Who's that? Is that Fred?
Yeah. I told you.
Yo, Fred Stanley, best friend for life. This dude is in Switzerland. It might be like 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. over there, but he's a Terp. I heard. What time is it, Fred?
It's like 1 a.m.
1 a.m. and he's watching us cook.
Fred, Bronx Science, stand up.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Fred, that's TJ.
We go back a little bit.
I've known this dude since '93. One of my best men in my wedding.
Yo, why using what's why the walk?
Surface area. Like the wok spreads out the excellent question, by the way. The wok spreads out the oil so that the stuff doesn't get too cluttered. If I had, like, let's say I use the Dutch oven, it might be smaller, and then the stuff will stick together. I can kind of push the stuff around. Plus, it also doesn't require for like a deep fry. I had about 3/4 of this size container. That's not one of the big ones. That is 48 ounces, 48 ounces of oil. And that was already open. I used about 3/4 of that. So it wasn't even a full thing of oil. I'm a little skittish also just about having like a ton of oil just sitting cooking. Don't want grease fires. Another pro tip, if stuff catches on fire, keep some baking soda, do not put water and try to put out a grease fire. That's not going to work.
Use your remaining drinking.
Now, what I would actually do, I have a fire extinguisher under my counter, in here and over there, so I can always kind of get to it. So I mentioned the salt. You want to after frying something, you always kind of want to like just throw a little salt on there. Just the hot oil will kind of liquid. I don't say liquefy, but it'll cook up the it'll melt the salt, and you get some really nice flavor after that.
Sanjay, is there some history behind that walk?
Excellent. No, it's an authentic walk from China. I did not go to. I like to, when I cook, I've amassed a good repertoire of cooking tools, whether it be like a Moroccan tagine, or I have like the bamboo steamers. I have a Thai mortar and pestle. It's over there, right there. So like I would say one thing that I would hope separates me from the field is that I don't just have one cuisine that I kind of cook. I have a couple, and where possible, I try to get the dish or the tool that country uses to get that authentic flavor and stuff like that. So for this, it's a Chinese wok that I ordered, like, Amazon. I got a little low on the dredging, so I just added some more. Our first batch is the perfect batch. This is just we're just trying to get everything else out and ready. But it's a carbon steel, so carbon steel will rust. So when you cook in this, you don't want to let that sucker soak in water. When I clean them, I have a bamboo brush, and I just kind of just like with hot water and the brush, I just like scrub it, and then I season it like you would do. You treat it very much like a cast iron skillet.
I was gonna ask that. Okay, so you don't clean a cast iron skillet with soap or anything like that, correct?
Nope.
Right.
So the properties of a wok and a cast iron skillet are very much the same. High heat induction, so keeps the heat. That sucker is like red hot. I only have it on about like a medium. All right, cameraman, try that. How's that? Cassie,
yeah.
Try this. Okay. See how that is.
That's good.
Are you getting a crunch?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like, yeah, that's good.
You can't hear it. Oh, damn, that's real good. Okay. Yeah, I got that right.
What's the name of that flour again?
It is.
It's House of Autry.
Okay, it's House of Autry.
Okay.
If you can find it, because you're not going to find that everywhere, and I'm not going to tell you where I found it again, but I did say it at one point. So
you did, and
you got to go back into the video.
I don't remember that. So okay.
Okay, I didn't know if that was in the chat box or not. So I'm done with dredging, so I'm just going to wash up my hands a little. Any questions in the audience? I said for the vegans out there, if you wanted to make this a really vegan meal, we got some friends in Atlanta that are trying to do vegan what you would do is just substitute the buttermilk for like almond milk. You could do almond milk. You could do, I'm sure, coconut milk, just to kind of give it some body. You could also do, not say water, but like, I guess egg wash or something.
If you substituted a different kind of milk, would you still be able to add the lemon to give it that buttermilk flavor?
Sure. Yep. Because I think all the lemon does is just kind of, not to say speed up it's that tanginess that makes buttermilk buttermilk.
Why you did so pure?
What was that? I heard a question.
We didn't know we were on mute, but I used almond milk and vinegar because I'm doing Whole30 instead of the buttermilk. That's what I looked up.
So what's this 30? What?
Whole30, where you can't have dairy or you only can have whole food. So some of the stuff I substituted out because we couldn't use it. And so for buttermilk, I looked it up and it was almond milk and you add vinegar to it.
Okay, yep. I guess that would give it that little tanginess in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey Sanjay, what other vegetable could you recommend substituting other than the mushrooms?
Vegetable. You know what? That's a great question. Somebody else asked me that because I know Chrissy does not like mushrooms, and I was like struggling. I was initially thinking eggplant, but you'd have to. The thing with eggplant is one, you have to get the water out of it. You got to press the sucker. You would salt it ahead of time, weight it under, let's say like a cast iron skillet, lay it on a tray, put paper towel over it, then weigh it down. You're going to try to press out as much liquid as possible. That's kind of how people make eggplant parmesan. Which is delicious. So the principle would be the same thing. It's just that instead of it being in circles or strips, you're doing it in little bite-sized nuggets. So the premise, I would say, would translate where now you're breading it and doing it in nuggets instead of like a dressed John or so.
Can you use jackfruit? Like, do people fry jackfruit?
Yeah, I've heard. So jackfruit is one of those island fruits where they say if you cook it right, you can mirror pulled pork.
Yes. That I've seen.
So really? I'm sure you could. I've never done it. I would not be averse to doing it. It looks fantastic when properly cooked.
I'm sorry.
Go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say someone in the comments asked about cauliflower. Can you do that with this?
I think cauliflower would work.
Okay.
I think so. Turn the oil off. That would be good. All right, so now we're coming into the plating. I'm also trying not to break up that nice crust that we got. Okay, it's quiet, so let's listen. I don't normally eat like that. Can you pick that up? Can you hear that? And there's a microphone. Mm-hmm. You can pick up the crunch. It doesn't taste mushroomy. You want to try another one? Crunch it on.
And you don't need a sauce with that, right? You can just go.
Barbecue sauce if you want it.
Okay.
But it doesn't need. It really doesn't need one.
Singh, I gotta say, man, we tasted ours. It's pretty good too.
Excellent. That means the transfers.
That's good stuff.
So we are ready. This is ready for plating. It's plated. The one thing that I would do to just give it a little color. Parsley is easy, but I love smoked paprika. So smoked paprika is just going to add no heat, but a smoky flavor. It gives a little red to it. And
Actually, paprika is big over here.
Say it again.
Paprika is big in Switzerland.
Oh, I can imagine.
Where they make potato chips, like their most popular potato chips are like paprika, smoked paprika.
I'm with it.
We see you, Fred, stumping on us.
Bro, how's the chocolate out there? Have you? I know you're not like a sweets kid, but
Yeah, I found this supermarket chocolate that I really like. It's not even that expensive, but because I realized if I like something like Hershey Kisses, like that's not an expensive chocolate. So I tried to mirror that out here, and I found something that chocolate is great here. Chocolate and croissants.
really croissants. I wouldn't have thought that. Okay, so our oyster nuggets are ready. Okay, so now we're ready for the main course. Our steaks have been sitting at room temperature. To give you a little heads up, what is caveman style? All it is cooking right on the coals. No grate, straight up on the coals. Here's the thing, you cannot use Kingsford briquettes or anything like that. If you do that, you are going to have ashy steak meat, and it's not going to, it's going to not be good. It's going to be what you think, oh, how can you cook on the coals? Isn't just going to be like powdery with like the charcoal on it. I use hardwood chunks, and that's the actual like lump of wood that's been kiln dried. That allows me on my Kamado to get, it's going to be, I mean, that sucker might be like 700 degrees hot. When we get out there, we're going to lay these directly on the coals, maybe 3 minutes each side, and then pull them. We're going to wrap them in some aluminum foil to rest and let the juices kind of just mingle a little with, there shouldn't be charcoal on the meat, but for the little flecks that are, it kind of creates like a nice little sauce. And then when that's resting, we'll come back in here, finish the sauces, lay the salad out, and we should be ready to go. So this is where it gets interesting. Yeah, we're gonna go outside. All right, so I got my of love. Actually going to do this with us, or y'all just going to watch?
They're eating.
Okay. For those that are also, if you didn't have what I'm about to do, you could do this easily on your stovetop with either a cast iron, or if you have a cast iron with the grill marks, that's actually the best one to do. You could also put it in your broiler and do it under broil for 3 minutes and then flip it halfway and then pull it out. The flavor is not going to be there from the charcoal, and it wouldn't be caveman style, but it would still be a good skirt steak. All right, so let's go.
Wait, Sanjay, question: are you going to show that?
We're going to go out to the garage,
and then, but you're not going to demonstrate it on a regular stove. So we should be doing it on our stove while you're doing it on the coals.
Yes, you could do that.
Okay, I was wondering. All right.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, because the time is going to be the time. Your stove isn't going to get as hot as the grill is. So let's say it might go like 3 minutes. It depends on what you like to eat too.
You do.
You got your camera?
Yes. So I'm putting in a jacket.
I know it's super cold, but I'm like nervous hot. So.
Can you mute him?
It's been said that you probably need a jacket because it's probably ice cold outside.
You don't need to like catch me walking out there.
Oh, sorry.
Can everyone still see Sanjay?
Well, you see the kitchen. If that helps.
No.
No, he's outside.
No, Sanjay.
I thought cameraman was going outside.
Sure, I did, minus the camera.
This is our time to, this is y'all's time to catch up, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hey, everybody.
Hey, y'all. Hey.
Hello, hello, hello.
She, I'm coming over. Save me a mushroom. I know you heard me, Tashia Wilson.
I said I will
I feel like they definitely can hear you. Can you guys see Sanjay?
We cannot.
No, we still in the kitchen.
We just chatting.
If you look at what Cassie, where'd you go? You were so Sanjay.
I'm on Sanjay, but
Yeah. Somebody keeps asking, do we see him on your feed?
I'm asking. 1 second.
The Sherrod jacking it up.
Okay, now can you guys see?
Yes, we
Yeah.
Okay.
So come over here. I want you to see. So
Yes.
we're sitting at 700 degrees. Steakhouse, getting a tight shot on there. So the Kamado, one of the selling points is this. This will get super hot, up to like 900. So it's sitting at 700. Okay, this is back up.
Okay, I'm backing up.
So this is the technique where you're burping the grill. It's like you're adding a little air in, because you will get like a backdraft. So just waiting a few seconds. And now you're pulling it up. So that is red hot. Can you see inside there? Okay.
You guys see that?
Y'all see that?
Yep.
Okay, so all I'm doing is letting it right on the pole. Yep. So I'm just eyeballing about how long I want that to go.
Mr. Chef, sir, what kind of grill is that?
This is a Kamado Big Joe. If you ever heard of the green egg, this is like the Ford, this is like the Ferrari and the Lamborghini of grills. It gives you really high temperature. It keeps the heat in there. It gets up. This is sitting at 700, and it's really kind of kicking. I just flipped the meat because it's hot, so it doesn't even really got to go. Remember, I said it doesn't really stick. Like that does not look like it's ash laden, considering what we thought or what y'all thought it would look like.
Is he turning this?
You'll get a chunk every here and there, every while here and there on there, but you just kind of move it off. But this is cooking way faster than 3 minutes. I'm aiming for like a medium, and we're pretty much like right there. Minute and a half, excellent time. Okay. How do you like your steak?
Medium well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you? Okay.
Medium rare.
Okay.
Right. It's still on fire. Oh no. That was almost my finger. I'm risking my life for you guys.
No terms were hurt in the making of this video. And that is it.
Oh wow.
Okay. So right now what I'm doing, I got a little bit of charcoal on there. Actually, so look, I said there wasn't going to be much charcoal. You got like a little fleck here and there. I'm going to keep that there just to show you that it adds to the flavor. What we're going to do is just wrap it out here. Get a tight wrap and seal. Just to let it rest. Just to also let the juices kind of
How are you picking that up with your bare hand? Like, is it not hot anymore?
No, he has a glove on. You just show them your glove. He's wearing a-
So, this is like a just one of those.
We need to switch.
Okay.
Hold on.
Sanjay is still muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so somebody asked what kind of glove. Heat retardant glove. It's up to like 500 years or so. That was 7. I didn't feel
There's
it.
the echo. There's the echo.
Are we good? You're good. Okay. So this again, it just protects your hand from getting burnt. While this is resting, because this is good, now we want that to rest. You never want to cut meat the minute you pull it from the heat, because you want the protein to relax. Everything's like tight, so you want it to kind of like loosen up. If you cut it now, everything dries out, and it's just gonna look like a epic fail. Then you're gonna have really dry, tough meat. What you're doing now is letting it rest. You're letting those like fibers kind of loosen up. That way it won't squeeze all the juice out. So now we go back to our sauces because we want to finish up our sauce. So I have my red wine, and the technique I'm going to do is just like, I'm going to vigorously mix our red wine while I pour the vinegar in. This emulsifies our sauce. You want about a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar, so not too much. Needs more red wine vinegar.
How much red wine vinegar again?
I did a 1/4 cup on the ingredients, but I didn't do a full amount of that on the oil. So you want it to kind of balance out. You don't want it too oily. That's the best way I can explain that direction. I think that's perfect. You've had it before? I'm sure.
We may have missed the step. Is the lemon juice already in there, or are we still waiting to add the lemon juice?
Okay, for the excellent question. The chimichurri does not have lemon juice. That is the vinaigrette. So the chimichurri is for the steak, and that's done now. The lemon vinaigrette, this is for the salad, and this is where we're gonna, now this is where the olive, with the lemon juice came in with the salad dressing. So. Yeah, your phone is dying. On the couch, I have like you just put it down on the. Y'all there? You see it?
Yeah, we here.
Ooh, that's beautiful. Okay, what's the time? We're at 8:23. This is actually going to get right. I didn't think I was going to get this for an hour and a half. Okay, so we're ready to dress the salad. Okay, we're done. So, dressing the salad, just think, you don't put all the dressing in there, you just put a little, because what I'm going to do is toss that very lightly with the, that's my little puppy, if you can hear him. Just a little bit more of that lemon zest, just to put it over the top. We are going to take our salad. It's been washed, so I'm not gonna like pre-wash it. It's triple washed. Say it again. All right, so we got our salad. Now we're just gonna kind of mix it through so that it gets that shimmer of the dressing all over it. This is a mixed green salad, field greens. It's nothing fancy. If you want to do like baby arugula or spinach or something to that effect, you could do that. But basic salad. Just want to have a little flavor to it. Okay. Chrissy, I think I made something for like this for y'all that time y'all came. I can't remember.
Yeah, you sure did make it for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add a little bit more because we want to fill that. So remember when I said, in case you were not the fan of the steak, what you could do is take half, like take the salad and lay your nuggets on there, and or I know TJ, you guys are doing fish instead of steak. You could lay your steak on top. I'm like missing.
We're actually doing both.
Say it again.
We're doing both.
Good man. There we go. All right, so I need a bigger bowl. I should have used my metal bowl for the salad mix and the chimichurri for this one. Okay. Got your nice bed of lettuce. Okay, for the showstopper. So, it's the best way I can. We have our meat. Look at that juice. That's that. Now, you could just cut everything all at one time, but I don't want to get too fancy. Now, here's the key. Like, you don't just go in there and start carving it up. With the skirt steak, it will be most tender if you serve it and cut it against the grain. So what's the grain? The grain, if you can see in this, the striations of the meat fibers are going vertically like that, okay? So I do not want to cut it this way. What I want to do, I'm going to cut it into about thirds. It's a nice little medium, probably a medium rare. And if you're lazy, you could just kind of cut it both cut it this way and cut them 2 at a time. I'm just gonna show it to y'all and cut it I'm cutting at a slight angle too. I'm not also, so I'm getting really thin slices. Don't be afraid of the blood, people. Well, it's not blood, but this is how a steak is supposed to be served, especially this one. So you want it, you want a nice tender kind of cut. That way it's not going to be too chewy. Again, going back to that, going back to the textures. Okay, so that's one. And then
I will say, Sanjay, I have had this steak that you made, and I'm not really into the whole like rare, medium rare type of thing, but this was actually delicious. So I will say that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There we go. I actually prefer my meat on the medium side. This is one of those few that like you can get away with a little less because the meat is just really so tender. Any more, you're really going to kind of take away from the meat. It's going to get chewy and stuff like that. So our last one. Again, here's, hopefully you can see this. A technique I'm doing is I'm cutting and then I'm turning it. So I'm not really lifting the meat off the board at all. I'm moving it from one side to the next. Can y'all see that? So I do that so that when I serve it, I can just kind of pick it up and make sure I have the stuff in between.
I'm sorry, Sanjay, did I miss the discussion about that plateware, that dinnerware you have?
No.
It's nice.
We can start the discussion now. It's just the serving plate. Like I shop at Sur La Table a lot. It's like a
At where?
Sur La Table. It looks like Sur La Table.
Oh, okay.
So that's that.
Got it.
Okay. There's one in Arlington, right off of Joyce Road. Behind.
Oh, is it?
Everyone, it's a surprise. Hey, I don't know what to get Sanjay for a birthday gift or a Christmas gift, whatever. That would be the perfect.
That's really pretty.
What?
You with the plug, I see you.
So, and then. I'm cutting these a little thicker, just so that you can just see. So that would be your skirt steak on mixed green salad with the lemon vinaigrette, and then we'll finish it off with the chimichurri. And then you guys can dig in. This is a family style meal, so like the way I'm serving it is basically let people just kind of go at it at the table. So my own shameless plug is, for those that maybe joined us a little late, like, so I do these little chef tables. With the COVID right now, it's kind of out of my house, but these are like little private dinners, like out of my kitchen, anniversaries and birthdays and things like that. I'm not a caterer. I don't want to be a caterer. I don't want to get into that market. I think the thing that separates me is that we can have like a dinner like this, and we just kind of like talk through everything I'm doing. Sometimes I have guests like kind of help them work out. Usually they're just sitting and chilling. But for those that are afraid to go out or, you know, don't trust the restaurants, which I don't, you have this ability to kind of still have a nice dinner and a dining experience.
What's next Sunday? It's our anniversary.
Say that again? Who's that?
I said, what you doing next Sunday? It's our anniversary.
Inbox me. What I do is like we kind of like curate a menu with the guests, and we put together, you know, I've done like, you know, a couple of courses, like 4 or 5 courses, soup, salad, or appetizers and such. I'm gonna leave some because my kids don't eat. They're very finicky. They have like solid cooking at home and they just want nuggets and fries. So I'm leaving half of that, but that's your chimichurri. And I'm
on after you've plated everything, then the last thing you do is the chimichurri?
yeah, because that's, I mean, you could do that table side. I mean, I put it on there so it looks like, you know, the finishing product. But your finishing piece is the nuggets, the oyster nuggets, and the skirt steak over mixed green salad. And there you go. Bon appetit.
All right. Thank you so very much, Sanjay. Wrap it up. That's a clapping, but I'm clapping.
We loved it. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for joining Cooking with Black Terps.
He's done.
Oh, how do they reach you?
Excellent. So I still am like in infancy stages. I have an Instagram. It's called Food That Makes Your Soul Sing. That's a mouthful, but it's worth it.
That's also the title. It's in the title of the event.
Yep. So no spaces, I guess. Yeah. On Instagram.
Look at on your couch.
Sherrod, my LB. So that
Right. Everybody needs to see
Nice.
the director, cameraman.
It's my key grip, my best boy, all those items. Executive producer. He came up with the name because I was struggling, and he was just like, "Food That Makes Your Soul Sing." I was like, "That's it." So if you're friends with me on Facebook, you can always see my exploits on Facebook. Post what I cook, the dishes I cook, or what I'm serving for dinner that night. You could also look at the Instagram and be like, "Hey, I like that dish. What's that?" We do that for a meal, and kind of go from there. So, thank you.
Man, Sanjay, great job, man. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Beautiful job, brother. I hope
That
you
was
really
dope,
think about doing Friday cooking with Sanjay, man.
Yeah, I paid for this for somebody else, so I would pay for you to do this.
Yeah, like once a month. I do it. Yeah, like once a month.
When Wiles had his 40th birthday party, so many people that came back to the colony that day were like, "Yo, we follow you on Facebook." I was like, I didn't even know it was half that kind of, you know, crowd. So y'all kind of really pushed me in this direction. So just keep doing it, because sometimes it's like, hey, no one really wants to see me cook or try. But if this is something that y'all like, then hopefully the food you made,
Yeah, man. My son just
honestly
said
and truly,
the
congratulations.
chicken nugget was better than regular, so that's a good thing.
Well, congratulations to your first YouTube episode.
I gotta say thank you, Maisha, because you're the one that kind of was like, "Hey, Sing, would you want to do this?" And I was like, "I wasn't even thinking about anything like that." Oh,
That was me, Val, talking.
But no, thank you. Yes, thank you to Maisha for reaching out to Sanjay. Thank you to Sabria Hassan.
Yeah, Sabria. Are you on here?
Sabria is on here, yes, for doing all of the
I need a
coordination.
face to the name.
Oh, right. See, if she was here, she would be here. She
Sabria, say something so we could pick you up.
I don't think she's on camera right now.
Don't be that person.
Hey, no, I'm not on camera, but thank you, Sanjay.
Sweating.
Yes, thank you to Sabria for coordinating this event. Thank you to for having me. And I put Sanjay's contact information in the chat at Food That Makes Your Soul Sing. And I also put the Black alumni contact in there. Please do follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
Does he do this all the time?
And look out for more events. Happy homecoming, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed all of the events this week. And we do appreciate you.
You can email me also at srsing, my last name, 1906, at Gmail. And Maryland is winning.
Oh, Maryland is winning.
28, 14 almost. Let me figure it out. We're like a 26-point underdog.
Yeah.
Good job, Sanjay.
Thank you.
It's Swazo, by the way.
Oh,
what's up, Swazo?
Let me find
What's
out.
good?
We got a little Bronx Science contingency. Best school in New York City. Tech.
Okay. Did anybody
Great job, Singh. Good job, bro.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thanks, Sanjay.
This was amazing.
We're gonna wave, Cassie. This is us waving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
All right, Jay Solo, good job, bro.
Thank you, bro. Yo, I'm gonna set up those Zoom. Tell Matt and everybody to start sending me their emails.
You got it.
Oh, we do.
Put my man Fred on that one too.
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, what's up? I'm still here. Yeah.
Term, they're gonna do a little Bronx Zoom. I'm sorry.
No, we're about to.
What? We might as well stay on here.
We're definitely gonna end it now. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. I'm like, nobody trying to get off.